Hi, it's me again. It's time for my weekly video. As I mentioned yesterday on Facebook, if any of you followed or saw it, I want to talk about Common Core. Some of you may or may not know what Common Core is. You may have seen it on people post about it on Facebook, but never really took time to research it. For those of you who have seen it, or seen someone post about it on Facebook but don't really know what it is, I'll explain it. Basically, it's educational standards set by the federal government to be adopted by the educational system in the United States. But it's heavily flawed, and it basically allows certain things, in my opinion, to be a little misconstrued. It allows the federal government to change details that we know to be untrue, or at least turn it into their truth. We know that it, from what we've seen, it complicates math into, this most simplistic addition and subtraction problems into just something that would make a math major cry. And I'll give a couple examples here in a little bit. Not necessarily math, but I'm in kind of my car. But I will explain what just what has happened in some of these Common Core relationships. One I'll talk about was in a situation where there was a Common Core classroom, school system rather. They gave out these worksheets, and it was talking about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And they got to the part about the Second Amendment, and you're all probably thinking, oh, here he goes about the Second Amendment. But anyway, it basically talked about that the Second Amendment gave the rights to the militia only to own and bear weapons. It didn't mention anything about the rights of the people shall not be infringed. It didn't mention anything about that, just mentioned the militia. To which bothered a lot of people. Another thing that is bothersome about Common Core is it opens a doorway into literature that probably shouldn't be explored at certain age groups. As you may know, it's gone viral about a father out along the Eastern Seaboard who protested at a PTA meeting a certain book that had been given to the kids in this class, and it was basically talking about a school shooting was the highlighted topic, but it also talked about drug use. It talked about a lot of other things, and another thing, and here's what really bothered the father, is that it discussed in detail very graphic, rough sex scene. And if I'm not mistaken, the kids that were issued this book were somewhere between the ages of 10 and 12. That seems very disturbing to me, that kids in this age range would be issued anything with that kind of material. Probably shouldn't even be in any school system, considering that a lot of school systems have even banned books such as Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer and whatnot. So to me, that seems a little offensive and a little hypocritical. Another thing about Common Core, as I mentioned, was the math thing. It overcomplicates the simplest math, and as far as like subtraction and addition. And if you don't believe me, look it up. Look up Common Core math, and I promise you will be upset. Matter of fact, if you want a perfect example, look up Louis C.K. and look up what he has mentioned as far as the topic of Common Core math. Maybe you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. And not only does it give the government and the school systems the power, depending on your political affiliation, the right to twist the words of the Constitution and bring certain material to our children. Something else that was discussed, or that was brought up to a school system, I believe somewhere out in the Plain States, was that they were, or maybe actually might have been out in the West Coast. I don't really have anything to double check that, but it was either the Plain States or the West Coast. And basically it told the children that the founding fathers had no right to rebel against the British Empire. That they broke the law. And because they broke the law, they were traitors and were subject to be prosecuted by treason if they were caught and captured, and the British government had every right to hang and imprison these men who disobeyed the government's law. So, with that being said, to me it sounds a lot like indoctrination. It sounds a lot like our children are being spoon-fed. The government's, especially the liberal leftist way of mind your P's and Q's, do what you're told, and everybody be fine. Don't question authority, and and everything will be fine. Those are just a few of the examples that I wanted to bring up as far as Common Core is concerned. I know, again, I'm not trying to give you a lot of detail. I'm just doing overviews. So please, if you go, well, he didn't really discuss it that much, it's not because I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to give you snippets. As I've said in my other videos, I just want to give you snippets of information and hopefully inspires you to do more research on the subject at hand. And if you're from Indiana and you're watching this, you should be very familiar with Common Core, as our state Senate has recently voted to do away with Common Core. And if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be on our governor's desk for approval. If that goes through, Indiana will be rid of Common Core and will be adopting new educational standards to replace it. And as a lot of you Hoosiers may also be aware, President Obama has threatened the governor and our state senators by saying that he will cut our federal funding if we choose to step out of Common Core. To which I said, fine. And if I was a state senator, or even the governor of the state, I would further that by saying, if we're not getting any more funding, then we're not going to give you any taxes. And put that up for ratification in the state legislature. That's what I would do. Push comes to shove. The states have every right to do what we got to do to make sure that our people are taken care of. And by trying to do away with Common Core is a great way to do that. And to the President of the United States, boo-hoo. States' rights, man. Sorry. We have the right to do what we got to do. Something else I want to talk about, and it has nothing to do with Common Core, just something I want to bring to your all's attention. Supposedly, as of this morning, is supposed to be the start of Operation American Spring. And basically, I heard about it, I think back in late December, maybe early January, where basically a retired naval officer that is a bigwig of a Florida militia has organized a massive protest in Washington, D.C. that was supposed to kick off this morning, and they estimate the numbers to be in the millions. Basically, it's representative of militias from around the country that are supposed to be there, and apparently their goal is to oust the president, the vice president, director of the Department of Justice, Eric Holder, and Hillary Clinton. And if I'm not mistaken, John Kerry is on that list as well. So, I don't know exactly what's going to happen here. I don't have a whole lot of details on it. However, I do encourage you all to look it up and see for yourself exactly what is going on. Because this could be big. If this has actually happened, and the numbers that show that the people that actually show up is in correlation to the number reported, this could be a very, very, very big deal. So, with that being said, I want to wish you all a good weekend and a good day. And remember, people, stay aware, stay alert, stay educated, and most importantly, stay free. So, again, do your research, people. Do your homework. Goodbye.